Leadership isn't about control. It's about creating cultures where candor is safe, expected, and actionable. Every football fan knows what a penalty flag means. It stops the play, calls out the issue, resets the field. Well, in leadership, we don't have a flag for that. We need one. The stakes are even higher. I mean, let's face it. If you're not in the business of football, it's just a game. But in leadership, what we're doing isn't a game. Lives are at stake. Livelihoods are at stake. Careers, reputations, all those things. We need a BS flag to stop the play so that we can reset the field and make sure we're going to go do the right thing. When's the last time someone on your team called you out? Not in anger, but in truth. Can they actually say that was BS? Can they actually throw the flag? Can they throw the flag at you, the leader, and stop your play? One of my favorite tools of all time, and I've issued them to every leadership team I've led, maybe for the last 15 years, is a yellow BS flag. I don't know who came up with the idea. I'm going to find the link and put in the show notes. If it still exists, I'm sure we can get them off Amazon now. But 15 years, 16 years ago, I found a company that made yellow BS flags. And it's a yellow flag like you see on the football field. It's weighted, wrap a rubber band around it, and you can throw it on the table. All of our flags on my leadership team, everybody had a flag that said BS, the BS flag. I had a special one that said the full word because, why not, right? The point wasn't because we were all football fans. We were, most of us. The real point was what I wanted from the leadership team was we need to stop the play when someone is breaking the rules. And that most importantly, most especially included me. Because what can happen is you can create a HiPPO problem. Now, the first time I heard that term, I thought somebody was making a fat joke at my expense. Maybe it's deserved, but it's not a fat joke. HiPPO, the highest paid person's opinion. And if you're not careful, that's what can happen. The highest paid person's opinion becomes the way. No one's throwing the flag or stopping the play because you're the boss. That's what I was trying to do. I vividly remember the very first time we introduced the flags in a meeting. Now, I had a very high-functioning leadership team. There was extreme candor, extreme openness. Like nobody was afraid to say what needed to be said. It was equal rank, myself included. But I was still worried because I know that I have a strong voice. I knew I had strong opinions. And if we're not careful, we may end up going down a path. And also, we wanted to make it safe. If we were going down a rabbit hole, somebody could throw the flag and we would get back on track. I remember this meeting like it was yesterday. We were doing our annual planning meeting. This was a 2.5-day retreat. We would walk through our 10-year, 5-year, 3-year, 1 year, our next quarter, big rocks, the most important things we were focused on. And we were having a conversation about our goals. We were having a conversation about our BHAG, our big, hairy, audacious goal. And we were safe. We were playing it safe. In fact, one of our leaders, I will not use his name to protect him, though he doesn't need protection. He'd be the first one to say, hey, it was me, mea culpa. One of our leaders was playing it super safe, like beyond conservative. The next thing I know, he said, hey, our goal shouldn't be some big stretch thing. We should just set a target that we know we can achieve. And the next thing I know, like in the blink of an eye, 5 BS flags are flying across the table. Now, the rule was that we throw them into the middle of the table. Like on a football field, you throw it near where the infraction occurred. This was a highly competitive group, and it was a very conflict-forward group. So, unfortunately, the flags flew at him, and I will neither confirm nor deny, but there may have been bruises involved in this play or in this call-out. But I remember it because the flags flew, and everybody said, that's BS. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to set a real target. And I realized that we had created this mechanism to depersonalize the issue and only call out the rule infraction. And it was so powerful. And it probably wasn't an hour or two later where I said something that frankly was BS and I got the flag. What I love about what happened is that leaders don't just need to create a place of accountability. It's not about the breaking the rule. They need to create a structure that makes it safe for others to speak truth to power. When everybody on the team threw a flag at me, they were telling me the truth. They weren't having to say it. Now they did. The BS flag wasn't about, I can just throw the flag and walk away. They had to explain it. But the whole point, the whole purpose was the BS flag wasn't about blame. It was about clarity and courage and a culture where truth can be spoken even when it stings. I broke the rules. It's my fault. That's what I loved about that flag. I'll never lead a team without a BS flag. It's so cool. The leadership story here, the leadership insight was that powerful teams don't hide problems. They surface them. That only happens when leaders build systems that make the truth safe, expected, and equal. There's no rank when the flag is thrown. Now you have to install that, you have to instill that, and you have to repeat it. And it goes back to one of my age-old truisms. When you get tired of saying it, it's only starting to sink in. In football, the ref throws the flag, but in great teams, anyone can. Everyone is expected to. I think there's 4 elements of a leadership culture that's free of the BS. Number 1, it has to be safe. Throwing the flag doesn't come with consequences. Now, we may argue about it. Hey, I didn't see the penalty there. That happens in the football game, by the way, but it's safe. Number 2, it has to be expected. Leaders encourage this behavior. They model the behavior. Everyone is expected to throw the flag. 3, it's equal. Everybody can do it. No one's above it. No one's below it. Everybody's equal. Anyone can throw the flag. And 4, it has to be cultural. It's not a one-time stunt. It's how the team operates. I remember laughing later after this meeting when those flags would show up around the office. People would walk into just a stand-up meeting or just a regular old staff meeting with a flag in their pocket. That's when I knew we were onto something, and that's when I knew it worked. When the flag became standard operating procedure, when the flag became part of the uniform. That's how we signaled it. It was fun. It was cool. It was leadership. Not on my part, but on the part of everyone on the team. So here's some thoughts on one of the things that we did to make this applicable in the real world. And we had to have some rules. We had to say, you can't just throw the flag, but here's how you can use it. Here's the protocol that we used every time someone threw the flag. The protocol was very clear. It was very simple. Here's what I saw. Here's why I think we're off course, or here's why I think we broke the rules. I have a fix. Here it is. Or I don't have the fix, but we are not headed the path we should be going. And here's why I think that. You don't have to have a solution to name the problem. And I've always believed that as a leader, hey, you have to be very careful about accepting problems. Instead, we accept solutions. Hey, I'm glad you identified this. What do you think we should do? But in order to throw the flag, you don't have to have the solution. You may not have it yet. You have to see that there's a problem. You don't need the solution to name the problem. You don't need the solution to throw the flag. This process built trust, it built agility, and it built ownership. And over time, it built better decisions because it killed the HiPPO, at least for me. It made it where I wasn't worried about what we were going to do was being done because I said it or because one of the other key executives said it. It was because we had robustly debated and aligned on it. We had created clarity and we created alignment. This is straight out of one of my favorite books, The Oz Principle, where you see it, own it, solve it, and do it. You can't fix what you don't face. And if your team isn't naming the problems, you're just going to keep repeating them. You're going to devolve the decision quality to the HiPPO. Frankly, that's BS. Here's your challenge. Here's the thing that perhaps you can take from this. What would it look like to bring a BS flag into your team meetings? Would they use it? Would you let them? I encourage you to create your own symbolic BS flag, whatever it is that works for you. Is it a bell? Is it a dinger? I'm sure some folks would like it to be a shot collar, particularly around my neck. But what is it that you can do that applies and hits on those 4 principles of a BS-free leadership culture? Is it safe? Is it expected? Is everyone equal? And is it cultural? Because man, when you get that, you're cooking with Crisco, as grandma used to say. You're creating results. Some ways you can go about doing this is to think about opening up a conversation on this topic in your next one-on-one meeting or a leadership meeting. Introduce it at an offsite. It's great to use when you're away from your normal operating environment and it won't feel weird. Throw the flag. Get it on the table. Model the behavior by throwing it yourself first. Model it by throwing the flag on yourself first. The first time you find yourself going down a path, and maybe you do it intentionally, where you are not modeling the behavior you want or you're not following the rules, throw the flag on yourself. You can't lead what you can't see. And you won't see it if your people don't feel safe enough to call it out. I'll never lead a team again without giving them the permission to throw the BS flag on me, to stop the play, to call us out, and make sure that we're doing the most important thing. If this idea resonates with you, try it. Just try it this week. Make the invisible visible. And when you do, I'd love to hear about it. Shoot me a DM on LinkedIn. Shoot me an email, dusty@arcusgroup.com. I love hearing how people create impact from ideas, how they apply tools in their operating environments. Make the invisible visible. Create a playing field where everyone can stop the play when you're going off course. When you break the rules, it's the expected and default behavior to call it out. If you know a leader who is committed to creating a BS-free leadership environment, share this episode with them. Let's make this flag part of how great teams lead. This is Leadership Unlocked. If today's episode gave you something to think about, something to apply, then there's more where that came from. Head over to arcusgroup.com and sign up for our newsletter. It's where we share tools, insights, and our leadership frameworks to help you lead with more clarity, more alignment, and more impact. No fluff, just what helps you lead better. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time on Leadership Unlocked.